to our bi-monthly meeting, not bi-monthly, our monthly meeting to discuss the move and kind of shed information and new light on anything we might know regarding the move to the new building. Again, thanks for your feedback and your questions. We'll try and address most of those as we go through today, while at the same time provide you any information we have gathered since our last meeting, and maybe even some repetitive stuff from our last meeting. So again, thanks for jumping on today with us on this webinar, call it that, and we'll go through some of the updates. First and foremost, we want this transition to be as smooth as possible. And so as we're considering the tech support for the first group that's going to move, there's some changes that will have to be made to support the group that's moving in January. That's the Department of Admin Services. Will be out there the move will begin that week of January 27th. And so we will make sure that we are in a position to support them with the right DTS employees and the right infrastructure in place, so that when they move over, it's just as seamless from a support mechanism. We might need some help from folks as they kind of scale up and get onto working in their new space. We want to make sure that it's as seamless as possible for DAS. Also in the new space, we're doing more collaborative areas, just like our telecommuting initiative. It dovetails nicely with that. So DTS employees will be asked to help with support of those kinds of things. A lot of those will be like Google Hangouts, those kinds of things. There may be some click share devices, a few other things. So we'll try and get the word out just to make sure that everyone is up to speed on how to support those. So again, that when DAS first moves in January, that they will be right up to speed and working with their folks right away. Also, there will be some new space scheduling software that is currently being evaluated. No decision has been made, so that someone can walk up to a common area and schedule that just through a touchscreen outside the room. So just to make sure that we have the right scheduling software in place, that's being evaluated now. We're down to a couple of options. We'll let you know more on that as soon as we can, but certainly that's something that's being evaluated. Also, the new building will be completely up on VoIP at the time we move, so just make sure that our skill sets are honed for that, and that we're kind of gearing up for that first move in January. And then just to flesh out the timeline a little more, DAS will move January 27th, or begin moving that week, and Ag will be in the late summer with other folks out of this building, and then DTS likely towards the end of the year. That's best timeline we have right now, but it seems to be coming quickly. So just so you know that's the timeline we're working with. And also, as we start to see the new technologies that are coming into that space, we'll make sure that everybody's trained up on that, and maybe we do some brown bags or something like that to get everybody up to speed as quickly as possible. So that's kind of the tech support side of it from who's going and when. Some other changes that you'll see as you come into the state office building, there is a checkpoint where you can come in and get directions from someone, or even get some information. Similarly, there will be a central point of entry at the American Express building. There will be a person there and badge access throughout the building. There's actually been some mock-ups I've seen of the third floor, which has actually had some renderings of what that will look like. We'll try and get that out to everyone so that you can see what it might look like, at least the third floor. The main entrance, I haven't seen any renderings on that yet. I think it's still very early stages on that. So there will still be a checkpoint, just as there is here in the state office building, out at what we're calling the T-SOB right now. I kind of like the T-SOB, goes with the MASOB, but we'll see where it ends up. So far, it's the T-SOB. Also, in our new workspaces, as well as all of those that are going in, all of the desks will be sit-stand desks, and which I know we've had a lot of ergonomic studies, and with some of our folks here, and I think it's a great idea. I keep hearing that sitting is I forgot the thing now. It's the next thing we got to overcome in our generation, but I need to do a better job of that. And so it's exciting to see that they've thought about that, and all the desks will be sit-stand desks. There will also be a full cafeteria, something different to Capitol Hill. We do not have a cafeteria up here on Capitol Hill any longer. They're just bringing in food trucks. But out at the TSOB, there will be a cafeteria, a full cafeteria. They're hiring or evaluating the vendor to do that, which will be exciting to see. But even more exciting, there's a place where you can go outside, you can eat, and overlook a pond. Ducks may join you with your lunch, who knows? But it's going to be very nice, a very nice setting for lunch. And that outdoor pond, I've walked out there, it looks really nice, and American Express folks have done a nice job with that pond. So it should be a nice setting for lunch. Additionally, there's a couple of pads, concrete pads or spaces available to the south of the building, in between the American Express building and the health labs, where there's going to put possibly a couple of restaurants, and a DVC store is in the works. And so it would be interesting to see how that shakes out, but just wanted to get that information out to you. So as you're considering maybe where you might eat lunch, there may be some restaurants nearby, like very close to the building. Of course, all spaces are designed to meet ADA guidelines, so rest assured that's there. There will be electric vehicle charging stations. I noticed they're adding more up here on Capitol Hill. They just added maybe another 4 or 6 charging stations. Similarly, they will continue to add electrical charging stations there at the American Express building. And if you haven't been out there, know that there's plenty of parking. Again, a different constraint than we're used to here on Capitol Hill. It's always difficult for parking out there. I'm not seeing any restrictions on parking, and so we haven't worked out how many each agency might have as far as reserved stalls go. That will be forthcoming as we learn a little bit more about that. But in any case, that's the case on parking. There is also a gym there. There will likely be a small fee to maintain the gym area, and it's actually there's a little corridor connecting I'd call it an annex building to the American Express building where the gym is currently located. It sounds like that will be just up and functional the minute that we are moved in, and so if you're worried about after Christmas gym membership there, it's available to you there. Let's see. We're still working on public transportation information. I heard that there is a BRT bus rapid transit connection between Tracks and the Front Runner in the works, but I don't think it will be available at the time that we move in. So in the interim, they will provide a shuttle between the track station in West Valley and the Front Runner station near the hospital, and that will run about every 15 to 20 minutes, and so you'll be able to not have to wait too long for those shuttle that will come by, as well as the bus routes that are currently in place. UTA is still evaluating that with UDOT, and so we'll get you more information as soon as we hear that. There will also be likely bicycle storage there at the building. So for those of you that are considering riding, that may be a nice perk to have, where you can ride and have a place to keep your bicycle. That's pretty much what I know on the employee move. The data center, we are still moving the data center. We have assigned a project manager now. His name is Mike Anderson. So if you have some thoughts on moving of the data center, please contact the project manager, Mike Anderson. You can find him in the Google directory. We also had the RFP close last week, and we're evaluating those responses. We expect the award to be made sometime the end of this month, and then start to work on the data center. We had a meeting with DFCM this morning, talking about the timeline again, reiterating the fact that we need to be out by the end of 2021. And so that's our date that we're working with. So as much as I can tell you on that. We'll also, once the contract is awarded, we'll start sitting down with the vendor, talking about these timelines, start working with folks here in DTS and our project manager to figure out the best way to move that forward. At the same time, pinning down the costs and making sure that we have all of the funding in place. We're pretty confident we have everything down now, but we want to just make sure that we haven't left some I not dotted or T not crossed. So that will be forthcoming as well. So we'll let you know as soon as we bring on that vendor and start to look at the timeline, and then make sure that we're all ready to go on that. So with that, let's see. There is a link out there for other questions that you might have. Just post those in the forum. Stephanie sent that link out, and we're going to try and address a few of those questions now, and make sure that we've at least get to those questions. And so if you have something, go ahead and submit it while we're answering the other questions, and hopefully we'll get to yours this time. If not, we'll catch you next month. So with that, let me pull up some of the other questions that we can get to. Let me jump into that. So the first question is about, are there opportunities to utilize other agency office buildings that are closer to someone's home or their satellite working location instead of commuting to the new Amex building? And so we are working on a revised telecommuting policy, which may include opportunities for remote work locations. It's certainly going to be something that's evaluated as we determine the scheduling software as well for scheduling free address space. That will come into play, making sure that there's enough space in some of those remote locations, but also to make sure that that it works with the manager, that kind of thing. So there's no overlap or stepping on someone's space. So that's something that we're certainly evaluating. As far as many commutes changing, I understand that concern. Again, I've been walking over here for the last 23 years, and it's going to be a big change for me. Hopefully they'll have a place for me to land every so often. So in any case, yes, that's something that's being evaluated, and we're looking at that. As a matter of fact, we're trying to hire people off the Wasatch Front. And so if you know of somebody with technical skills off the Wasatch Front, please refer them. And we've tried that with one employee that's on the help desk working from, I think it's Sanpete County. Let's see. Is there a plan to move any of the DTS employees who are currently not in the state office building into the new building? That's being evaluated right now. We're still looking at things, not at this time. They're just looking at current usage and usage in the new space. But that may change, so I can't say for sure, but in any case, that's something that we're looking at.
She's been adding many questions at the bottom if you want to look at some of those.
Okay.
Underneath the
Let's see, who will be moving the actual computers and monitors from the SOB to the TSOB? I don't know if we talked about that last time, but we are not having to move those. Those will be moved by others. We'll certainly need help in setting them up and breaking them down at each location. So helping here in the state office building, break them down and then setting them up at the new location. We will not be responsible for moving them between point A and point B. They'll just magically show up in the new office. We will need to help set them up and make sure that they're working, certainly as people are coming in. Let's see, will the front runner station near the hospital IMC in Murray? Yes. Okay. It's the Murray Central Front Runner Stop. Yes, that's the station near the hospital that they will be running that shuttle between that Front Runner station and the track station in West Valley. That's right near Valley Fair Mall. So we'll just make that loop. I'm not sure if they have 1 or 2 shuttles, but they said to expect about every 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes, there will be someone there driving by to get you. So what about motorcycle parking? It's a great question. I haven't heard anything about that. So I'll ask about that. We're hoping that we take care of all of those that want to ride over there on motorcycles, and so we'll make sure that that's available. I don't know where it will be, what it will look like, but we'll pass along that feedback. Thank you for that question. I really don't know. The possibility of opening up an asphalt connection and sidewalk between the American Express area and UDOT DPS campus, that could be a possibility. I'm not sure if something else is going to go in there. When we're talking about some of those pads that are there, I'm not sure what that will look like as a walkway, a road. I don't think there will be a road, but certainly that whole campus. I know there's a trail now that you can walk out there. It doesn't include the American Express building, but that may be extended to go around. I'm just not sure what it looks like yet, but we will pass that along as well. Let's see, any other questions that I haven't addressed? Wow, this is, I went through this very quickly. So if you have any questions, again, submit them through the form. We'll certainly take them on and make sure that we pass along the information as soon as we can. I hope that addressed many of the unanswered ones from last time. If we didn't get to it, please resubmit it, because I feel like we've caught up, but
there's one question about, will we occupy an entire floor, or are we on different levels?
Okay, I didn't see that question. So the question is whether or not we will occupy one floor or multiple floors. I haven't seen that yet. And again, it just depends on space utilization. I do know that DAS is occupying all of the 3rd floor. There will only be one occupant on that 3rd floor, and it's DAS. I know that Ag needs to go in. There's remaining entities in this building that need to go in. So whether or not we're on the 1st floor, 1st and 2nd, or on the 2nd, I honestly don't know. I think we will be near our data centers, which there is a data center on the 1st floor and the 2nd floor. So I have a feeling that we will be positioned in the building around those data centers. But I haven't seen anything that actually says that, but that's my sneaking suspicion. Let's see, any other questions?
One that just popped up, is ServiceNow being updated to account for the new building and location of staff?
It will be updated. It hasn't been updated yet. We're still working on some staff requirements. Sorry, the question was, is ServiceNow being updated to account for the new building and location of staff? And yes, that will be, as folks are moved to that campus, the staff will be relocated into that campus. There'll be some shifting of locations, of course, and we'll make sure that those are in service now as soon as we can, and once we inform the staff of where they are. All right, so with that, we'll see you next month and go through additional questions. Thanks again for joining us, and again, please feel free to ask any questions or express your concerns, and we'll hopefully figure those out. Certainly, like motorcycle parking is a task I'm taking away from this one right now, so we'll make sure we find that out and get that back to you. All right, with that, have a great day, and we'll see you next month. All right, bye.